Hey, and good morning, everybody, and welcome to Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Hey, it's Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And I'm your host, Sherman Ray, publisher of Black Success Magazine. We come to you weekdays, Mondays through Fridays, where we discuss the people, the places, and trends of the influential and successful. At Black Success Magazine, all we do is success. You can find us at www.blacksuccessmagazine.com, or you can email me at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. And as always, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, as well as get our downloadable podcast on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Today is Open Line Friday, folks. So let's get this thing started. Well, guys, today is going to be a fun day. I'm looking really forward to Open Line Friday. We've had an exciting week, to say the least. It's probably been one of the most adventurous weeks that we've had, starting of Black History Month. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're also going to talk a little bit about an idea that I've got for Black History Month. And I think that this is going to be revolutionary. And I hope you enjoy it too. So we'll talk about that. We do have the comment line open. So if you've got a comment or you'd like to talk to me about this, Friday is your day. I mean, it's your day. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I can actually see your questions. There is a little delay, so don't fear, because we will get to your questions. But you can put it in the comment section. Just ask me a question and I will answer it. We do have viewer mail that we've been getting in all week long, which is, it's kind of fun. People are sending you emails. So you can send me an email at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com, and I will generally get to it the following week, or I'll send you an email back immediately to answer any of your questions. But that'll be kind of fun. And but today is your day, and you can talk about whatever you want, which is cool. So while we're waiting for some questions to come in, like I said, I've got viewer mail here that, wow. Oh, okay. Got quite a bit of viewer mail here, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. But let's talk about some things that I saw in the news during the week. Today is, it's the end of the week. It's the first week of Black History Month. And let's start with Black History Month first. Okay, let's do that first, because I think this is going to be something revolutionary and I don't even know if I've got a file on this. Maybe I do. I'm going to see if I've got a file on Black History Month. What I had an idea here, folks. This is what I had an idea. And I will see if I can pull it up while I'm dinking around here. What it is I actually even have a whole file on just Black History Month. The whole thing that I've got just for Black History Month, and I made a diagram. And so I won't be able to find it, and so rather than waste time. So this is my idea. Today is February 5th, and February 5th in the Black History Month calendar, what should we be doing on February 5th? And I'll give you time to think about it. Okay, nobody knows. I'll stop you. Nobody knows. So today is the first week of Black History Month. What should we be doing as, people who celebrate Black History Month? Okay, once again, nobody knows. Okay, all right. So this is my proposition: is that we create literally a formalized Black History Month calendar, so everybody knows what we're doing on Black History Month. Because right now you've got people who are saying, "Hey, we've got this thing we're doing, we've got that thing we're doing." Nobody knows what we're doing. So let's do this, and I hope you can see this. I don't have a real good pen on me, but I'll see if I can find something that I can write on. And like I said, this is a Open Line Friday. So if you've got a question, you've got something you want to ask me about, definitely put it in the comment section, and we will get to your question. All right. So let's divide the month, Black History Month, into, I hope you can see that. Yeah, I hope you can see it. So we'll divide it into four 4 weeks. Okay. The first week, we're going to talk about history. Okay. So the first week in Black History Month, we will talk about history, and not just any old history. We'll talk about African history. We're talking about the continent of Africa, the great kings of Africa, Egypt, Mansa Musa, the richest man who's ever lived, that kind of thing. So the first week of Black History Month will be devoted to stories about. So, because most Black Americans, and I had a conversation with a guy about this just yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he said, I'm an American, so I don't know Africa, and I'm going, well, brother, you're African. You don't know it, but you're African. You may be an American, but you are of African descent, and really, that's something important that we should understand. So that lets me know that he's probably not atypical, because this brother's like 75 years of age. So, and most Africans, or most African Americans, probably feel the same way, that that they're born in America, so they don't know Africa. So, but we should. So the first week of Black History Month. So I'm going to put Black History Month. Okay. And I'm going to actually submit this. So the first week of Black History Month, it should be to history. Okay. African history. Okay. What is Egypt? That kind of stuff. The Nile, what the continent is, how many languages are there, that kind of stuff, so that our kids know this stuff. And it's something we should teach in our homes. The second week, we will talk about something that is going to be very important to us, is tribes. Tribes. Okay. What do I mean by tribes? Well, unless you've done a DNA, all of us came from a tribe. Okay. All Black folks in America have come from a particular tribe in Africa. And most of us don't know what tribe we came from. We don't even know what side of the continent we came from. My idea is, and I'm already speaking with somebody in the legislature right now, and this is a bold proposition. I want to see how many of you are on board for this. Is that we petition the government to, and I'm getting really bright in here, so I'm gonna turn down some of my lighting here, folks, because it's gonna get really bright in here pretty quick. That we petition the government to do a DNA search of every Black American in America. There's 39 million of us. It costs about $100, literally $100 a head. Okay, that is something that America owes Black Americans, because none of us know where we're from. Unless you've personally gone out and done a DNA search, you probably don't know where you came from. And these DNA searches are pretty darn accurate. You may not know exactly what tribe you're from, but you will know what country you are from in Africa. Africa is a diverse country, and so you could be spread out all over the place. And I know a lot of Black folks go, well, I got Indian in me, and I got, okay, well, whatever. Okay, I shouldn't say whatever. But you are African. Okay, I don't care how much Indian you have in you. I don't care how much Irish you have in you, or how much Swedish you have in you. You are African. And there will be a predominant African country or a area that you will probably come from. I did a DNA search. My wife, bless her heart, got me a DNA search. And even though my family is from Jamaica, okay, and I got all my families in Jamaica, Africa, where I came from in Africa, is from Nigeria. So predominantly, I'm like 60, 70% Nigerian. So I'm probably Nigerian of some place. And I did a language search to find out what language most Nigerians speak. And it's Fulana. So, you can find out all this stuff. So if we all found out what tribe we're from, we could spend that second week of Black History Month doing our tribal stuff. And understanding our tribe more, wearing our tribal, garb, that kind of stuff, and really just kind of a embracing of who we are as people who are African people. Okay, so the first week of Black History Month, history. Excuse me. The second week, tribes. Okay, what tribe you're from. The third week And I know I'm doing a lot of stuff here. If you've got a question that you want to ask me on Black History Month, or excuse me, on Black Success Magazine, today's your day. Go ahead and put your question in the comment section. I'll get to it in just a second. And while we're waiting on that, and I've got some viewer mail here too, we're going to talk about. Just going over something I had an idea about. The third week, we're going to talk about civil rights. Civil rights and healing. Okay, so we can never forget that in. So the third week. So the first week we're going to talk about history. Second week, talk about your tribe. The third week, third week we'll talk about civil rights, the civil rights marches, slavery, and healing of a nation. Because once again, we don't want to ever forget those moments. I grew up during the 60s and 70s, and I remember civil rights very well. I mean, I remember it very well. I remember marching down the street going, Umgawa, Black Power, that kind of stuff. I remember that very well. I remember Martin Luther King. We have a group of kids growing up right now. They have no concept of it. They just don't know. And they say that those who forget their history will tend to repeat them. And we don't want to ever repeat that. We don't. And that's important. Okay, so we're talking about Black History Month. First week, history. Okay, the history of Black people in Africa. It's really important that we understand Africa. Second week, we talk about your tribe, on what tribe you came from. The third week, civil rights and healing, because this is more important, is that we spend a week of healing, of saying, look, you know what, we went through that. We don't want that as a part of our past, but we are healed now. I think the problem we have right now is people want to continue. They talk about civil rights, but there's no healing. Okay, there's no healing. We just keep opening that wound over and over again. And as a result of that, if you keep reopening a wound and you're not healing it, and you're not putting some salve on it and saying, I'm putting that behind me, we will never heal from that. So we can't move forward. Okay. So, and we could do an entire show on that. And the last week, we're going to celebrate. Okay. All right. Third week of Black History Month. Okay. I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. The third week of Black History Month is our future. That's when we have parades. That's when we need to say, hey, guess what, folks? We are having a good time. And that should be a week of having parades and people marching down the street going, yes, we're great. We could be dressed up in our native garb, our tribal colors, that kind of stuff, and having a great time for an entire week of partying and talking about the future of Black people in America. So once again, I'm going to do this one more time, and then we'll go into some questions. Okay. All right. So the first week of Black History Month should be about history, the history of Africa, about who we are as a people, so people understand. Our kids need to know that. The second week will be about our tribes, or individual tribes in Africa. And once again, we discussed that. We won't go back into it, but we need to have a DNA search. Everybody needs to have a DNA search to find out what country you came from in Africa. And then you can start drilling it down and start celebrating your tribe, because if connection is important, you need to know where you're from. We all need to know where we're from. Okay. The third week needs to be on civil rights, the slavery in America. And then not only that, but finishing up the week on healing. How are we healing? And putting that putting that into some context, because we are not slaves anymore. We are healed people, and we need to continue to heal. But if we don't get to this point, all the civil rights stuff didn't do us any good, because now we're still walking around beat up. And the fourth week of Black History Month should be speaking about our future. Can you see that? Should be talking about our future, and not only our future of where we're going, but that's when we celebrate. We should be having parades and jumping up and down and having a fun time and talking about how great we are as a people, and we're moving forward as a people. Okay, so I wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's get into some questions. It's Open Line Friday. Let's talk first about my girl Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka, and we don't have a lot of time here, but Naomi Osaka became the part owner in a women's soccer team. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I think that she did an awesome job on that. Many of you know who Naomi Osaka is. She's a tennis phenom now, part African and part Chinese, I believe, or Japanese. But she became the co-owner of a new women's soccer team. What is the name of that team? Because I had it here before, and I don't have it in front of me. But that just happened. And we've actually got quite a few women who are part owners in teams, which is great. So we want to celebrate that, which is a great thing that happened. Um, Another thing that happened this week, and that we are looking forward to because it's happening in March, so it's happening just a couple weeks from now, is you will have Viola Davis, you will have um, Tyler Perry, Regina King. They're up for Entertainers of the Year for the NAACP Image Awards. I mean, that's for those of you who don't know who Viola Davis is. I have a secret crush on Viola Davis. Okay, I'm going to say it now. My wife might. This might be the first time my wife's ever heard this, but Viola Davis played in The Help. She played in Suicide Squad. She has a show out that I think is just finishing up, and it's called How to Get Away with Murder. She is probably one of the hottest properties in Hollywood right now. Just a dynamic actress. She generally plays people who never smile ever. I mean, she's just like all the time, just all in your face, mean all the time. But when she smiles, this is a drop dead gorgeous. She is awesome. I mean, she is just awesome. They ought to have her cast in roles that make her smile, that show the softer side of her, that show the just she's the hotness in my estimation. The same thing with Regina King. I just saw a show day before yesterday. It was on last 2 days. Regina King. She's about 5'3", generally plays very intense characters. She was in a show called Enemy of the State with Will Smith, and she played Will Smith's wife. She was an ACLU lawyer, and just one of those just intense individuals. Once again, a prolific actress, just a great lady. Anyways, Tyler Perry, Regina King, Viola Davis. They are up for NAACP Image Awards, Entertainers of the Year. So that should be real cool. There's a story out, and this story is about an HBCU grad, and she created a card game that empowers Black and Brown families to build generational wealth. Okay, so this is very cool. So this is in Baltimore. She created the girl's name, Ruby Taylor, and she's an HBCU grad. She's from Howard University, and she is the founder of Legacy Card Game, a fun, interactive way for Black and Brown youths and families to learn how their career and financial choices impact their legacy and wealth building. It exposes all players to new financial concepts and career possibilities they may not have otherwise encountered. So the cool thing about games like this, and this is one of those games. And I'm going to put a link to all of these things. You'll see these all on the Black Black Success Facebook page. We'll be posting this all week long, or because it's great stuff. Many of you have heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad and Kiyosaki. He had a game that came out, and it's called, I've got it here someplace. I've got it in the closet. But his game, it's called the Rat Race or something like that. I forgot what it is. But the game does the same thing. What her game does. Her game teaches you how to get out of the rat race of life. And I'll tell you how important this game is in my life. When I opened up my restaurant, we used the principles that I've learned from Robert Kiyosaki's game. It's a board game. It's just a board game. We used the principles from that game. This is important how games are to open up my restaurant. That's right. Yeah, I know. You use a game to open up a restaurant. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. There are certain principles that you can learn, and I'm so sorry it's getting very bright in here right now, folks. We're getting a lot of light in here. I'm facing this window, and right now it's generally overcast, but now it's not. Um, we learn the things we can learn in board games, we can translate into real life, like the importance of owning property as opposed to renting, the importance of real estate as opposed to stocks. Okay, the importance of certain things, certain assets that you think are assets in your life right now, which really are not assets; they're debits in your life, like renting things. Those are definitely, you might have that thing. Let's say you buy a new car. Okay, you buy a new car. It's wonderful. You have this great new Lexus. You got this great new Escalade or whatever. But if you're paying $300, $400 a month for an Escalade, as opposed to owning a 7 or 8 year old car, you're wasting 300 something bucks a month. That money you could be using to buy something that is solid and tangible. That's how you learn those things in card games. I mean, Robert Kiyosaki's game was very impactful. Child support payments, bad news. Okay, you just having certain things you learn in these card games. I think this game right here is going to be prolific, which is great. And once again, I'm so sorry we're getting very, very bright in here. I'm going to see if I'm going to change this light in just a little bit, okay, and see if we can make a difference. This is even worse. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Okay. I just want to tell you, I'm very excited about this card game. And once again, the name of this game, once again, her name is Ruby Taylor. The name of the game is Legacy Card Game. Okay, so check that out, Legacy Card Game, which is very, very cool. In the news today, James Brown. So many of you know that the Super Bowl is coming up this weekend. So the Super Bowl is this weekend. James Brown. For those of you who don't know who James Brown is a sports analyst, sports commentator, sports host. He and a bunch of these folks are on every weekend. He's on CBS. He is celebrating his 10th Super Bowl. I mean, he's been in 10 Super Bowls, and which means he has probably been of other sportscasters. I wonder if he's actually set a record, because this has got to be a record. Let me double check. If this has got to be a record for people who are actually in 10th. So he started with Fox pregames in 2002, Super Bowl, which occurred nearly 5 months after 9/11. Coronavirus. What else? So James Brown, so I'm reading this article about James Brown. This isn't exciting about him being in 10 Super Bowls, because he is probably going to set a record. The only other person who's done as many high-profile games is Howard Cosell. So James Brown is he's doing some great things. Some great things. And so we don't have a lot of time left. Gosh, I'm running out of time. Let's talk about, in the time we have left, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. Okay, Patrick Mahomes, this kid. Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was in the Super Bowl last year, MVP, and they won the Super Bowl last year. If they win this weekend, he will become there's only like one other player that's won back-to-back Super Bowls, and Patrick Mahomes will be that one. He is playing against Tom Brady. Tom Brady has been in 10 Super Bowls. I mean, I think it's like 6 or whatever. But anyways, he's been in a lot of Super Bowls, and he's got 6 Super Bowl rings. So this guy is no joke. He is the GOAT. He is 43 years of age, went from being the number one quarterback with the New England Patriots to going over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and being the quarterback for them. Still was able to take Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Super Bowl, which tells you something about the folks who were over in New England. They were pretty stupid. So Patrick Mahomes, when Tom Brady was in his first Super Bowl, I think was in kindergarten. Yeah, I think it was in kindergarten. But he's 25 years old. He's got multiple commercials. He's got hair stuff going on. He's doing State Farm. He's doing hair. He's doing all kinds of stuff. And he is one of the highest paid players in sports. So why do we bring that all up? Because Patrick Mahomes is going to probably set the standard for quarterbacks moving forward. Nobody has got his set of skills. No one has been able to put it all together. You've got a lot of quarterbacks who run, okay? You got a lot of quarterbacks who can throw. You've got a lot of quarterbacks who can read defenses, that kind of stuff. But Patrick Mahomes puts it all together in one package. He will probably go down in history as the greatest quarterback if he lasts. Okay, he's got to last some time. I'm not one of those guys who says you're the greatest quarterback after 1 or 2 seasons. I'm just not that guy. I want to see you for a couple of years because we thought the same thing about RG3. We thought the same thing about Michael Vick. We thought Randall Cunningham. We thought the same thing about, McNabb. All these guys, I can go down the list of all these quarterbacks that we thought were the greatest. And none of them were able to have any longevity. Okay. That's why Tom Brady is probably right now the odds-on favorite for being the greatest of all times. Even past Johnny Unitas, even past, the brothers, I forgot the guys' names now. Because they have longevity. And Patrick Mahomes is that kid. He's only in his third year now, okay, third, fourth year. But he's proven to be all that. I mean, he's done some things in the land of football that just cannot be denied. He could be down 3 3/4 of a football game, still beat you. That's Tom Brady status right there. Because Tom Brady, in my estimation, is never out of a game unless there is no time left in the game and the other team has left the stadium. That's the only way Tom Brady is out of a game. If he is down, I don't care how many touchdowns the guy's down. If you give him time on the clock, 30 seconds, he's going to score on you twice. So don't ever count him out. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's just in my estimation. Anyways, I want to, so if you would like my model of Black History Month, okay, I'm going to post this because I think this has legs. I've already spoken with a state representative about the DNA testing because I think that this has something. Let me ask you a question. Would you be open to having a DNA test if it could tell you where you're from? How valuable would that be for you? Would you vote for something like that? Would you support an initiative like that? Would you support an initiative for every Black person in America to have a DNA test, not just so people can have our DNA samples, okay? It's going to have some controls and some safety in it, but so that we could find out who we are, where we're from, that could help us have more of a solid foot in knowing who we are. I think this has a lot of possibilities. Anyways, this has been Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine podcast. Once again, if you'd like to get a hold of us, go to our website, blacksuccessmagazine.com. You can email me at info@blacksuccessmagazine.com. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Apple Podcasts. This has been Open Line Friday. Thank you all for being a part of the show. We will see you again Monday, where we will talk about success on Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Once again, this has been Sherman Ray. We'll see you again Monday, 8:30. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.